Hi there. As part of my blog, I'm trying to get to know some of the riders that are going to be riding in the Gear Up for CF ride. That's the ride that goes from Vancouver to Banff to raise awareness for cystic fibrosis and raise funds. You're going to be a part of that ride. You were a part of it last year. I'm here with Mike Hamilton. And what has your journey been with CF?
For me, it was a very interesting journey. I wasn't diagnosed with cystic fibrosis until I was 12 years old. So up until then, it was just like a lot of the population where it's a disease that everybody's heard about but doesn't know anything about. And I remember, or not heard about. So when I first got diagnosed, I was in hospital for a month and a half with barely any lung function, and they managed to get me up and running. And it was a huge learning curve. I went from just maybe doing an asthma puffer once or twice a day to now I have nebulizers and pills and antibiotics. It was a bit of a learning curve at 12 years old.
Just explain to me a little bit about the ride, what it was like and what to expect.
The ride it's a challenge. It's a lot of fun. I've never had to push myself that hard, and it's an event that means a lot to all the people involved. You have a lot of people who are heavily involved in the cystic fibrosis community, mothers, fathers, uncles, aunts, and this year, patients with CF. For me, the ride was important because I have a lot of friends with CF, and a few friends in particular that aren't doing as well, and one friend in particular who was doing really poorly last year and passed away, and the ride was important for me to help raise funds to try to do something about CF, because I don't like seeing my friends suffer, and because I can do the ride and I can push myself, I feel that it's something that I should do.
I mean, this year we've got, because I'm doing the 9-day ride for the first time, which I'm very scared about. Yes. But there's 3 people that have CF that'll be doing the 9-day ride. That hasn't happened in the 6 years previous.
No, I think this is the first time that there's been more than one rider with CF. I was the first rider to do the entire ride unassisted. There's previous riders
and
that I believe did it on tandem, just on my own. There's other riders that did it in tandem, I believe, but I think I was the first to, or at least I did the furthest distance of the ride. So the other 2 riders have had double lung transplants, and it's impressive to me to see that people who went from barely being able to function or who walk down the street without getting tired are able to, ride across the province and, be able to make it there, hopefully unscathed.
You obviously did the ride last year, so
Yes.
You know what's involved and how hard it is. And we're in typical Vancouver weather today, but this is kind of what it might be like.
There was at least 4 days on the ride that were about as terrible weather as this, and this isn't even the worst of it. The worst part is that you'll be climbing hills. So last year, the second day of the ride, you climb up over the Hope Slide and over Allison Pass, and it was raining harder than this, and of course you're at 1,500 feet elevation, or 1,500 meter elevation, so there's snow on the ground, and you're freezing cold, and it's not actually the climb that sucks. It's once you've summited on a wet, cold day, well, you've got to go downhill, and so of course you're not going to be pedaling as hard going downhill, so your heart rate goes down and your body cools off, and now you've got soaking wet clothes on with a 50 kilometer per hour headwind, wind in your face.
Now?
No, so it's luckily the volunteers are usually waiting at the top of all the summits with all your warm clothes and stuff, because you shed your clothes at the bottom of the climb and put them back on at the top, because otherwise you'll just freeze.
Right. So what's our average?
On the ride, we're averaging about 120, 130 kilometers per day. The longest day this year is going to be day 2, which is going to be 195 kilometers.
Right.
So that's going to be a bit of a problem. We'll see how it goes. Day 2 is already one of the hardest days.
That'll be a bit of a problem.
The harder summits are Paulson Summit and the Kootenay Summit. Kootenay Summit, I believe, is 1,700 meters, and that's 20 kilometers of 7% grade.
7% would be what around here?
So Cypress is 6% grade pretty much the entire way up. So and Cypress is only 12 kilometers.
And so what would you tell people about this ride, or about supporting Gear Up for CF and cystic fibrosis?
To support it? Well, there's just go and donate to people. There's on the CF Vancouver website on the events page. There's all the information about the ride is at Gear Up for CF. It's grown steadily each year. Last year we had 11 riders finish the 9-day. There was 13 that started, and this year we have 22 that have signed up. Yeah.
So a lot more opportunities to draft.
Yes, drafting's important. Drafting is important. You learn to get very comfortable going 35, 40 kilometers
On
per hour.
somebody's wheel.
6 inches at most off somebody's wheel. So it's an interesting thing. You learn to tailgate and get comfy at it. It's a lot of fun.
I haven't ridden in a group yet, so.
It's fun. You'll like it. You just
Awesome.
have to learn to trust people. That's the
Yeah.
tough part. And
No
find
doubt.
somebody trustworthy to follow. That's the big
Exactly.
one. So
Great.
don't be erratic.
Thanks so much.
Not a problem. Thank you very much.